Thanks for joining us for this third and final webinar in support of our Maintenance Month campaign. I'm Peter Ball, your host. I'm an Aviation Safety Advisor for CASA based in Darwin. Our guest for this webinar is Joshua Kilgore. Joshua is employed by Jetstar as an aircraft maintenance engineer and is one of CASA's 2023 Aircraft Maintenance Engineer Scholarship recipients. Thanks for joining us today and for your time, Joshua. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, Pete. Thanks for having me.
So just a quick outline what we're going to talk about. We're just going to run through Joshua's timeline, his journey to date, and discuss some of the associated highs and lows and how some of those challenges were overcome. As you'll see in the links, in the comments there, we'll be posting some links to certain aspects. If you have questions, please post them in the comments section, and we'll endeavour to address them if we have time. And if we don't, we'll follow those up post the webinar. So Josh, let's throw over to you, and we'll just run through your career in aviation. So we might just start off with you telling us about how you became interested in aviation.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. So yeah, prior to aviation, I was a car mechanic. I spent my time just at a little workshop in town and completed my apprenticeship. And my wife was actually working at the local airport with Jetstar as ground crew, and she said, "Why don't you kind of jump out of that? You know, chase something else for a little bit, see what else is out there, and come join for a bit and." Can kind of surf and fish on the days off a lot more and stuff like that. So I thought, well, may as well. And I took a job there. And my wife actually knew one of the engineers that was based in the Gold Coast that would come down and recover AOG aircraft. So I started to get talking to this engineer. And at the time, I had no idea really about aircraft maintenance engineering. Always had a love for aviation, but never really crossed my mind that was out there. And so I was speaking to him for a fair bit, and then he said, come do work experience with us one day, which I jumped on, and within an hour of being there, I just knew straight away, this is me, this is what I got to do. And I kept doing work experience there for a bit, and I found out about the apprenticeship program that Jetstar does every year, and I applied and was successful with that. Then we started in 2020 in Newcastle just before COVID, and it's not a big move, just down to Newcastle. And not long after, about 3 months in, obviously COVID hit and kind of wiped the aviation industry to a flat. And during the stand down period, Jetstar kind of just said to us, we're closing hanging for good. We're relocating our base to Melbourne now. If you want your job and finish your apprenticeship, move to Melbourne. If not, that's kind of it. So I spent a few months with my wife, like kind of thinking, is it worth it? This is like a big move. Will it pay off? What should I do? Rah, rah. And obviously bit the bullet and went down there. And my wife was heavily pregnant when we first moved down. It was very challenging considering I'd never really been to Melbourne before, and finished my time there and got a job in the Gold Coast back at home as an AME, which was where I am now.
Excellent. Thanks, Josh. So in my excitement to get the session going, thankfully my assistant has pointed out that I failed to introduce myself. So I'm Peter Ball, Aviation Safety Advisor. I work for CASA in the Darwin office. So just going back to some of your timeline there, when you got the opportunity to go and do some work experience, who was that with?
So that was with Jetstar, just a lamey that kind of put me in the right path with Jetstar at the Gold Coast. So yeah, it was just line maintenance. It was pretty good, and I did that, ended up doing that 3 times, I think, before I got into the apprenticeship program.
Okay, so that wasn't where you were living at the time. You had to travel to go and do that work experience.
I spent about an hour in the car driving up there. Obviously, early morning starts and stuff like that. But
yeah, And how did you go about securing the apprenticeship with Jetstar? Were they advertising and you just applied, or was it
Yeah,
an opportunity basis?
so Jetstar every year it comes out. I think it just closed last week. It comes out about May, June. Every year they put out their apprenticeship program, and I know they get a lot of applicants. Um, and obviously there's like a process that goes on, like a couple of levels and assessment days and stuff like that. So it was actually pretty tough. Some of the assessment days were pretty hard, and like the exams they gave us, but obviously got through it and came out at the end with a spot. They usually take about 10 apprentices a year from all trade streams.
Okay.
Yeah,
And of course, that meant another move, I would imagine,
yeah,
from where you were living up to Newcastle.
yeah, it was, which was a good move, which I thought, like, this is sweet, like it's not too far from home. But yeah, obviously things changed pretty quick after that.
Okay. And then when the base closed in Newcastle and you decided to relocate down to Melbourne, that was in the middle of COVID as well, I presume.
Yeah.
So would have been quite a few challenges just logistically getting down there and finding somewhere to live. So
Oh,
another hurdle on the path.
oh, that was very challenging. Obviously, like my wife was like heavily pregnant, and I moved down and actually lived in the hotel near the airport for 7 weeks. And I was planning on taking time off work and coming up back home to have the baby and then go back down to work. And in the last couple of weeks before that, the restrictions were really tightening. And last minute, we are like, we can't do this. I'm going to get locked out of Victoria. You got to move down. We've got to have the baby down here, which we did, and got a place to live pretty quick. And that was it. And then straight 3 days later, straight into a tight lockdown with no family, nothing for I think it was 9 weeks. So yeah, it was hard not just on myself, but obviously on my family.
Yeah. And no extended family around to help out either. So.
Yeah, no one, no one.
Okay. So when you're in Melbourne, I think you were reasonably close in that location to Aviation Australia, where you did some of your studies. So was that beneficial to be co-located with that organisation at the time?
Yeah, it was. We were only, I think it was just a couple of k's around the corner, so it was really handy to have that around the corner because obviously as an apprentice you spend like blocks there, so you might do 6 weeks at a time, sort of thing around the corner. And obviously I enrolled into my diploma, so it was really handy on my days off because there wasn't really much to do in Melbourne, to start studying and sit my exams on my days off. So it was really good being close to there.
So when you say sit your exams, you were not just doing your Part 66 licenses, your Part 66 modules. You were doing your diploma modules as well.
Correct, but yeah, and the essays that come with it, because obviously Jetstar, they put you through a Cert 4, so you got to go to the next level for exams. So there's quite a few exams you got to do on top. So it was handy for that. I could study on my days off and go in there and sit my diploma exams.
And what about gaining the relevant experience for your JOE along the way? Were Jetstar able to accommodate what you needed, or were you just getting the appropriate experience on the job?
Oh, definitely a lot of experience in Melbourne. Obviously, they run base maintenance, so heavy sea checks, bridging checks, landing gear changes, and engine changes, and then the hangar next door was intermediate maintenance, so a lot of 787 smaller A checks, reweighing, big defect rectification on 320 fleet and 78s, and then obviously in your later years of being an apprentice up onto Melbourne Line, which is quite a busy line station. I think they have 14 or 15 overnight aircraft. So yeah, experience was next to nothing down there. It was pretty busy at times, but yeah, I couldn't rate it any better. It was great.
Excellent. And I've heard you talk and mention a few times about a specific defect that you and one of your other colleagues took on that was a bit of a challenge, not just to yourselves, but the other staff and the airline as well?
Yeah, Pete. So I think we're in our third year at the time, and this aircraft, it was a 320 aircraft, and a fire bottle went off a few years previously in the pylon, and there's recurring inspections for the aftermath of that. And on another shift, they found some corrosion around the spigot bearing, which is obviously the main thrust path from the engine to the wing. And the job was to get this spigot bearing out, but it was all well and good. But we're working through two fire bottle entrance holes about the size of a dinner plate either side of the pylon, and we spent about 7 or 8 weeks just trying to get the bearing out. We had to get tooling from Airbus, all this stuff, and everyone kind of just wiped their hands with it. This is too hard, rah rah. So the company were planning on getting Airbus to come out and rectify it, and myself and another apprentice said, "No, we've got to get this done. There's got to be a way it can be done." And yeah, we got it done, and then we got handed the fun job of reinstalling the new spigot bearing, and yeah, it was great, but
Excellent.
very tedious work working through a small hole all day.
No, good. Well
Felt
done.
great. Felt really good.
And I don't know if it was a follow-up to that, but Jetstar awarded you runner-up apprentice of the year in last year. So did that afford you any opportunities?
Yeah, so every year Jetstar run like an apprentice of the year. They kind of hand out a few awards. And yeah, last year was runner-up, and my mate who helped me with that job actually got the apprentice of the year, which was great as well. Yeah, that's pretty good. You get some good flight vouchers and travel accommodation vouchers, and I think I won a Weber barbecue. So it's good. Feels
No,
good to be recognised, I guess.
no, nice. So you mentioned working with other AMEs, and you spent a lot of time, in the last few years in that space. What sort of qualities do you think make a good AME?
Um, definitely team play always stands out to me. Like if you're willing to be adaptive and obviously learn new things from someone else's experience or someone else's way of thinking. Really getting out and having a crack and not standing back, I guess, and learning, because it's forever changing, and there's always things to learn, I guess. And yeah, having a go. There's nothing wrong with having a go.
Yeah, very good. And I first met you in conjunction with the 2023 AME scholarship. I might just mention that it's a privilege of mine to sit on the selection panel for that. And so I first met Josh when we interviewed him for that last year. So can you tell us a little bit about the AME scholarship and what that's brought about in the last 12 months?
Yeah. So yeah, the scholar. Oh, I was actually doing a rotation through head office with Jetstar in the camo in maintenance watch, and one of the lamies on my shift sent me the link to it, and I kind of had a read through it and went, oh, I don't think I'll even get a look in, sort of thing. And then I went home that night and thought about it again. You go, stuff it. I may as well put in. If you're not in it, you're not going to win it. So obviously ended up being awarded it, and very thankful to CASA. It's helped out amazingly financially, and obviously meeting people like yourself, Pete, that I'll have in my career forever to kind of look up to and get guidance from. Yeah, it's great. And with the funds that CASA was able to help me with, I've been able to finish my final exams, which was great, which it would have been pretty hard this year for me to do financially, as we've moved again interstate. So yeah, I'll be forever grateful for that.
Great. I just put a photo up there of you receiving your certificate from Pip Spence, our CEO and Director of Aviation Safety that was at Regional Aviation Association of Australia meeting back in March of this year. So what advice would you give to an AME out there that might be contemplating applying for the scholarship?
Definitely have a crack, put in for it. You never know. Like I said, if you're not in it, you're not going to win it, sort of thing. You got nothing to lose, and if you get it, it's life changing, and you'll meet obviously a lot of people out of it, and you'll have great contacts, and yeah, it's really handy.
Excellent. Yes, I remember it was again a privilege of mine to make the phone call to Joshua last year and deliver that news. And I remember all you said to me was, "You're kidding," and then went quiet while you processed it. So no, it was always a nice phone call to be able to make.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to be on the other end of it. To feel recognised, I guess, is pretty good when you put in a lot of hard work. It feels like it all kind of pays off. But yeah, if I was another AMA, I would definitely be putting in for it, because it's definitely life changing.
So just going back to webinar number 2 that we did, I was talked a bit in that about how it's a team effort to get from, through your apprenticeship, and also to get, navigate through all the technical training and the practicals and things like that. So, we mentioned that it's not just up to the apprentice, it's not just the employer, it's not the apprenticeship board, it's not the MTO. It needs to be a combination of all things, though, of those people to drive towards the outcome that's required. So, yeah, how difficult was it for you, Josh, in trying to make all of that come together?
Yeah, definitely, like we're saying, you need that collaboration. It kind of, nothing will really come to you if you sit back and expect that it'll come to you. So I really put in the effort and the hunger for it. Obviously, Jetstar look after a lot of apprentices, but their apprentice admin and committee are great, and are all for apprentices, as they know they're the future of the industry, and they help and push along the way. So I had that, obviously family side as well, pushing, and then the maintenance trading organisation, Aviation Australia, were great, great to deal with, and it all worked out really.
Great. I might just remind our attendees today, if you have any questions, just post them in the comments there and we'll try and get to them. So thanks for that, Josh. I might just go back a little bit in your timeline. So you did an apprenticeship in as a car mechanic and completed a Certificate 3 in light vehicle technology. How did that experience translate into the aviation environment?
Well, a lot of it, the hands-on skills obviously is a big factor. I had a lot of hands-on times and a lot of mechanical thinking and stuff like that. So it was great to take that into my apprenticeship as an engineer. It was probably more the side of, let's say, following manuals and stuff like that. That was a bit different, because obviously car mechanics don't hold a manual for every different car out there, where we're working on 2 different type of aircraft. We've got access to parts, tooling, all the manuals, all the relevant documentation that we need. So that was a bit of a change for me, but obviously working on cars, a great understanding of how things work, operate, what impacts what if we disrupt it. So yeah, I took a lot away from that, and yeah, pretty thankful that I did that, because it gave me a lot of good experiences and a lot of knowledge.
Okay, so probably the procedures and paperwork was
definitely
the
that
biggest change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I understand you've been utilised by Jetstar a couple of times for some support activities for AMEs, junior apprentices, that sort of thing, or less experienced people. Are you happy to tell us a bit about that?
What was that? Sorry, I just missed it, Pete.
Yeah, so you've been used by Jetstar to assist with junior AMEs or work experienced people.
Yep. Yeah, so the start of this year, they had their new apprentices for this year in Melbourne, and I was down there at the time and just had a little chat to them about sort of my career, my path as an apprentice, and obviously the GASA scholarship, and just kind of telling them that you're only going to get out what you put in, sort of a thing. You know, you don't want to stand back and miss out. You got to have a crack, and what you put in is what you're going to get out, and what you try to learn is what you're really going to really get out of it, and you're going to learn a lot more. Then we also have a few work experience kids that come up to our local base in Gold Coast, and same sort of thing. If they're willing to have a crack and learn, definitely going to put in the effort to teach them as much as we can.
Excellent. So related question, Ben's posted a question here. How many apprentices does Jetstar put on each year, and do they have any problems filling those positions?
I don't believe they have any problems filling them. I think they get quite a lot of applicants. They usually run average about 10 apprentices. But in saying that, obviously last year or the year before, I think they put on about 14 or 15, as during COVID they stopped the apprenticeship program for a year. But I believe on average it's about 10.
And is that all in Melbourne, or are they spread around?
Yeah, so they all start in Melbourne, obviously spend their first few years in base maintenance, really get the understanding of the aircrafts, the systems, and then they transition to intermediate and then on to line.
Okay, great. Thank you. So as we work through your timeline, there is a bit of new news to talk about, and that is that just a short time ago, back in April, Josh was successful in applying for and being issued his CASA Part 66 license. So there's a photo of Josh close to time, pretty happy. Tell us a bit about how you felt on the day when you received your license, Josh.
Yeah, Pete. Well, yeah, I was waiting day by day in the mail, so to actually open it up and hold it in my hands it's pretty surreal. You know, like it's been a goal of mine for the last 4 years to hold the purple book, and to have it in front of me feels very, very good. I feel grateful and feel like I've accomplished it. You know, so yeah.
And you're still carrying it around with you?
I am. It's here next to me, Pete.
A lot of hard work, dedication, sweat, and a bit of frustration, I'm sure, went into getting that. So since you got your license, what have you been up to?
So I've actually been on a company A320 type rating course for the last 7 weeks. So about to go back to work today, which will be my first day back. So it feels good to have the extra 5 exams that I had to do done and dusted.
Okay, cool. Well, congratulations again. I know I've said that before, but no, really well done. Good stuff. Might just ask what's the next goal? Where to from here for you?
Well, I'm going to start my B2 side of things in the next couple of months, I believe. You know, I always got that thirst for more. You know, I probably won't ever stop doing things like that. So I'm going to start that, obviously try and get that done by the end of the year into next year. And then I guess we'll see whatever happens, and whatever takes the path, I'm going to be running for it and going at it, I guess.
Okay. Good. Okay, I can't see we've got any more questions there yet. I'll keep going. Our 2025 AME scholarship applications will open in February next year, obviously. You can see there's a link in the comments there to find out more about the scholarship. I would suggest that if you are thinking about applying for the scholarship, or you know anyone that might be suitable to do so, don't wait until February for the applications to open. Start putting your application together now, and also have a think about preparing for an interview. If your application is successful, do a bit of preparation and start thinking about that aspect as well. Josh, you got any suggestions for people putting their application together?
Definitely do it. Put in for it. You know, it's great. Yeah, obviously spend the time doing the application. You know, you don't want to miss out. Yeah, it's great. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I would definitely not miss the boat for that one.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to start wrapping things up shortly. See if there's anything else you want to mention before we wrap up, Josh. But I'll just say prior to wrapping up, a big thank you to Prue Zamora, who put together and came up with the initiative for Maintenance Month. A lot of hard work has gone into the background of making it successful with Prue and her team. And this webinar is just one aspect of what we've been pushing for this month. So we will be doing it again next year, I would hope. We've had a lot of positive feedback, and if you've got any suggestions for what you might like to see as part of that campaign, let us know. Josh, any final thoughts, comments?
I guess if you're an apprentice or an AME out there, just keep chugging along with it. You know, put your head down. You know, if you really want something, you can get it. You know, I always struggled in school, and as soon as I found something that was what I wanted to learn about, I really took in a lot of information and learned a lot, and it just was a snowball effect sort of thing for me. So if you're out there struggling with it, you'll be sweet. Just put your head in the books, and you'll come out in the long run. It'll be
Excellent.
all good.
I might just add to that, if you're looking for a bit of inspiration, have a look at our Flight Safety Australia website. The stories about Josh and his journey, and our other AME scholarship winners over the years. So have a look at there. There's some inspiration in there. You might get some ideas about the types of direction you might want to go in, and need to meet those challenges. And as Josh said, just keep pushing on. There will be challenges that will need to be overcome. That's just one of life's journeys. So just need to keep up with that. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time today, Joshua. Very, very much appreciated. And I'll start wrapping things up by saying, our tool competition closed on Friday, so the winners for that will be announced in due course. And as for the previous webinars that we did, recording of this one will go up on our CASA briefing YouTube channel in the not too distant future. So look out for that one. Okay, well, that's it from me. Thank you very much again, Josh. Thanks you very much for to our attendees for joining us today. So stay safe out there and do good work. Thanks again, Josh.
Thanks, Pete, and thanks, CASA team. Thank you.